welcoming back a guest who previously joined me on a mental health break. And today she's going to share her writing journey. And there's a lot that I am interested in. So I can't wait to learn what happened behind the scenes, her tips for success, and so much more. So to all my writers, readers, and everyone in between, welcome back. This is Writing with Authors, and I am Vincent A. Lancy. Thank you for tuning in. Today, some areas we are going to dive into include the feelings model, why we struggle so much, gratitude, and so much more. We're going to learn about her book, A Roadmap for Self-Acceptance, with author Jane Tornatore. She's joined me on a mental health break, so be sure to scroll down in this episode description to catch that show. But this week's guest learned early on that if she didn't accept herself for who she was, she would quickly get lost in being there for everyone else. She knew she needed something different, and you're going to learn all about her story in just a few moments. But fast forward to today, she's a psychotherapist, speaker, and author who dedicates her life to helping people love themselves and obtain self-compassion. She has created strategies to help people lower their anxiety, trust themselves, and shift habits they have been trying to change for years. Jane, I'm excited for this show. Thank you for joining me on another show.
Thank you, Vincent. I'm delighted to connect with you again.
Yeah, we had such a great time our first time chatting, a lot of value added on the mental health side. And this book will do a little bit of that as well. But before we dive into all that, can you please introduce yourself to everyone who's viewing on today?
Yeah, I'm a person who started out on the East Coast, spent half my life in the Midwest, and now I'm on the West Coast in Seattle. And so it's a little bit of my geographic journey. And really what I've done is gone from structured work, academia, working for other people, to working through all the blocks so I can now work for myself and trust my own inner knowing versus needing, or what's the word how do I want to say it? Versus doing what other people want me to do, even if it doesn't feel right to me.
At Tampa Counseling and Wellness, we want to remind you that it's okay to not be okay. Reaching out for support and asking for a little extra help can be overwhelming, but everyone deserves a safe space to heal. We're so honored to be that space for Florida residents. If you want to learn more about our services or you'd like to set up a free consultation with one of our clinicians, you can call or text us at 813-520-2807. We're looking forward to growing with you.
I agree with that. Even in my last corporate position, I was very honored to have the position I had, but I felt limited in a lot of ways because I was just being assigned a few tasks for even the week when I felt I was capable of just applying myself in many more ways. And then here we are. Now we're on the Writing with Authors podcast series. And I'm excited to supplement that with the entrepreneurship podcast, with the mental health, because there may be some people out there who love to write, love to read, and need some advice. And that's what Jane's going to do here today. She just gave us an introduction, so we're going to switch over to her latest book.
Awesome. So the book is Everything is Perfect, Just Not Me, A Roadmap for Self-Acceptance. And I wrote it because I'm a perfectionist, and almost every single one of the clients who come to me are perfectionists. And so what I wanted to do was, my private practice is full, so there are only so many people I can work with a week. But if you write a book, as you well know, you reach many more people. So I put in a lot of the tips that I give every single one of my clients so people can get it for pretty cheap and start to find the things that work for them.
And I think it's a nice way to let people know, okay, maybe therapy in person wasn't for you. You tried it and it just wasn't something that worked for you. You tried virtual, it still wasn't something. There's always something for you. And I can't stress that enough. Everyone who listens to a mental health break knows. And we actually talked about this. Our brain is not a one size fits all. What works for some does not work for others. And whether it's exercise, eating healthy, yoga, meditation, creativity, you name it, there may be something for you. And for this show, there are a lot of writers out there who choose that to be their release. But did you always want to write a book, or describe that journey to becoming a published author?
Well, I'm here to inspire people. If I can do it, anyone can do it. When I was when I went to college, our yearbook, we could have a kind of a sentence below our senior picture. Right. Mine was, writing is the bane of my life. Because I was an English major and I hated writing papers. I hated it. And so fast forward, I got a master's and a PhD and wrote, tons of articles, and now we're at this book. But what I've come to realize is that one of the ways my perfectionism expresses itself is through judging my writing. When I speak, it seems like my right brain is more on board when I speak than my left brain, because I can speak and I can be clear and I feel good about what I say. When I'm sitting down to write, I'm like, that's a stupid sentence. Well, that's not clear. Well, nobody's going to. So my critic just comes, it's full force. So what I discovered for me is I spoke my book. I've got an assistant who I work with who I adore. She gets my message. She's like my ideal client. And so I still, to this day, when I'm creating content, talk to her and go, let's just talk. And she records it and puts it in paragraph form. And then it's out in the world with so much more ease than me slogging all by myself.
That's another great lesson right there. There are many approaches to writing a book. I think one consensus advice I have is just start, because I had a lot of pressure on myself. First chapter, second chapter, third chapter, trying to organize it before it was even on a Word document, not on paper, which I would have enjoyed, but that would have taken a lot more time. But here, just put stuff in a Word document, you copy, paste it, move it around as your book progresses. That's some advice from me. Jane, what's some advice for you, for all of our fellow writers and inspiring writers?
Well, kind of what you said earlier, there's no one size fits all. Find the way your brain works easiest. Find the way since I specialize in people who are super critical to themselves, find the way where your critic is the quietest and do it that way. There is no right or wrong way to write a book. That's one thing I love about being an entrepreneur is I get to do things any way I want to, which sometimes I do it horribly, sometimes I do it super well. But it's finding that way that works for you, whether it's speaking to someone. Like I remember Brene Brown said in one of her books, she got a group of friends and she would just get up and talk to them and then go and write. So it's really finding what works for you. For some people, being by themselves or in a coffee shop is what works.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I kind of binge write. I guess you could say I'll write the entire day. And
wow.
You live and learn through burnout as an entrepreneur as well. When I was writing Left for Dead, I had left my corporate finance job, which was the most money I've ever had, to scale back. I was teaching English online, VIP kid, for $10 a class. Then I was doing expo work at a restaurant and doing some labor help just to, put pieces together, write this book. On my off days, I would just write. And that book, I think, is like 40 or 50,000 words. It's my longest book.
Wow.
But, Left for Dead, everybody out there, that is my first book. It's a story of who I am, a look into the hospital where my mom had a journal of all the ridiculous things I said, went through with a traumatic brain injury and the broken leg. And then it ends over at me delivering my commencement speech and my MBA. A lot of learning lessons in there. And if you really need a book to push yourself forward, going through a lot of adversity, that is certainly the book for you. But Jane, say our audience wants to pick up your book right now. Where can they find you, your book, everything you're working on?
They can. My website is everydaylove.me. There's a link to my book there. It's on Amazon. You just look up Everything's Perfect, Just Not Me, and then you'll get it. And it's $4.99, so it's super affordable. It's a small little book.
Yeah, can you hold that up one more time for everybody viewing on today?
Yeah, see.
All right.
Really small. It's just short and fast and easy, which is what I love because I don't have a lot of time.
Right to the point. Be sure to hop on her website or Amazon now and give her some support. She wrote a great book. It's here to help you. And of course, all my books are on Amazon as well. I look forward to keeping this series going as we're recording this. I am in New York at my parents' house with the door open because it is not that Florida heat.
Yay!
1 or 2 episodes away from me releasing this series. By the time this episode's out, of course, they will be released. I like to have a few at a time so I can give one a week for a few weeks. But until next time, Jane, we just talked behind the scenes about her becoming a triple dipper, joining that entrepreneur show, joining me on all 3 shows. Stay on the lookout for that. And of course, scroll down to view her mental health journey. Jane, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Vincent.